Hi, this is Debbie and thanks for joining me today in what is likely to be a quick video. I debated whether to film the making of this card as I knew I wanted to have a super clean and simple design, but thought what the heck, it is good to see those quick and simple cards that are great for mass producing as it is to see more complex designs. The cornerstone for the design is this stunning ornament fir tree stencil from Alexandra Renke. This company is new to me, but I hope you'll check them out, as they have gorgeous, elegant, modern designs with a nod to the traditional. I'm starting out with a piece of shimmering card cut to 4 by 5.25 inches. I'm not entirely sure of the make of this particular card. I think it's from Crafter's Companion, but I'm not 100% sure, but I will link to the one I think it is in the description below, along with the other supplies I use. Having said that, the supply list today will be very short as this Alexandra Renke stencil fills the entire front panel and it really needs very little else. I've taped the corners of my panel of card to my glass mat to prevent it shifting around, and then lined up the stencil in the middle of the panel and again taped it in place. I've long wanted to try this rose gold glitter paste from BoBunny and snapped up a bottle when it came back into stock. The colour is so elegant, particularly on this shimmering cardstock. I used a palette knife to mix it together a little first, then took some on the knife and dragged it over the stencil. It spread really easily and I kept spreading the paste over the stencil as if buttering a slice of bread until all of the tree was covered. Then I lifted the stencil from the corner to reveal the beautiful design now decked out in rose gold glitter. I never tire of seeing the results of a lovely stencil and embossing paste. I set the panel aside to dry while I worked on the sentiment. I wanted a small sentiment strip in a toning card that sort of was there but at the same time was part of the tree. The Tiny Words Christmas set from Says Stamp was perfect for this. I chose the Happy Holidays greeting and a piece of silver shimmering cardstock from Crafter's Companion. This tones so beautifully with the card on the front panel in a sort of coffees and cream look. I took a piece of the silver shimmering card and placed it in the mini misty, lined up the sentiment, treated the card with an anti-static powder bag, before stamping the sentiment in clear embossing ink from Says Stamp, and then sprinkling with white embossing powder, also from Says Stamp, on top. With a preheated heat tool, I melted the embossing powder and then trimmed the sentiment to a skinny banner. I wanted to ensure the embossing paste was perfectly dry before moving on to construct the card, and so I gently moved my heat tool from a few inches away to finish drying the paste. I kept the heat tool moving all the time. I didn't want to change the embossing paste in any way, just hurry up the drying time as I wanted to finish putting this card together. I cut and scored a card base from Says Stamp's ivory card, and then covered the front of the card with a glue runner from Gina. I then added a piece of the silver shimmering cardstock to the front of the card and trimmed off any excess. I then added plenty of foam tape to the back of the panel and added it to the front of the card, leaving a small border showing around the edges. I also added foam tape to the back of the sentiment strip and then used a T-square ruler to help me align the banner on straight. I dug around in my old stash of enamel dots and found some peachy cream ones which toned nicely, and I paired these with some pastel paradise sequins from Little Things from Lucy's Cards, which I kept in place with Nuvo DELUXE adhesive. And that brings this super quick video to a close. A clean and simple design such as this would be great for mass producing Christmas cards. The large ornament fir tree stencil from Alexandra Renke is so beautiful with the rose gold embossing paste from BoBunny that the clean design just lets those two be the star of the show and very little else was needed. I'll leave links in the YouTube description below to the products that I've used today, as well as a link to the coordinating blog post over at limedodesign.com. I want to thank you for joining me today, and if you've enjoyed this tutorial, I'd be delighted if you subscribe to this channel. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.